Hello, hello. So I thought I'd try and show you a simple technique today. I already recorded this once and my microphone kept cutting out, so I decided not to post it. So fingers crossed my microphone will work today. If it doesn't, it is what it is. I apologise, but hopefully it won't do that. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to do this very simple technique, and I guess you could call it like a boho type technique. And I'm going to show you two different ways to do it. So the first one I'm going to do is using some chalks, just some coloured chalks, and a flower stamp, and you can. I'm also going to use this nail foil strip. People use it for nail art, but I'm going to be using this on the pendants as well. And I'm also going to be using some Crackle Distress Paint by Ranger, which you can get on Amazon. You don't have to use this if you don't want to. It's just added interest. So for the first pendant then, I'm going to be using this, like I say, this flower stamp. And you just place it on the clay. And stamp. You need to press fairly deep, not so deep that it goes through the clay, but you need a nice, deep, even impression. And I just tend to rock it just a little bit. Just peel that off. And then I'm going to take these nail art foil strips and just place them wherever across the piece. Bear in mind you're going to cut this into a pendant shape, so you've got to try and capture as many of those lines as you want to be on the piece, and you can just put them wherever you like. Just keep doing that until you're happy with it. They are a bit fiddly. And just press it down onto the clay. They peel off very easily, so don't worry about that. Just make sure they're stuck down. Wow, you need them to be stuck down. Maybe. Just a couple more, like this. Oops. So they're on there. Now take your X-Acto knife. I'm using an X-Acto knife, or you could just use a regular blade for this, and take each colour of the clay that you want to use and just scrape some onto the tile. You don't need too much. You can use any colour you like. You can make them as vibrant as you like. Depends which colour you use as to how they come out on the clay, but I prefer them not to be so bright. So when you've got those ready, you can either just use your finger or a nice soft brush to put it onto the clay. So I'm just going to use my brush, I think. And make sure you get that colour in between those strips of foil. You can even blend them in a little bit with each other. Stuck down so well there. I think I'm going to get a blue. Not sure I'm going to use the orange. Changed my mind. Just keep going with that until you're happy. Maybe a little more green. Okay, so when you're happy with that, you're going to take the Crackle Paint and just apply that with a soft brush. Now, the thicker you put this on, the deeper the crackle. So it all depends how crackled you want them to be. I quite like them fairly deep, so I put a thick layer on, but then you can just do little tiny bits here and there, little thin layers here and there to get a finer crack. Here's my cat. I know. Yeah. Do you want to say hi? Do you? I know. I know. Okay, so when you're happy with that, just you need to move it to one side to dry. So while that's drying, I shall show you the second pendant. Come on then, come on, come on. Say hi. Say hi, everybody. This is Tipsy. It's a good girl. Go on. Right, second pendant then. I'm taking a larger piece of clay for this one, but this is just my personal choice because I'm using a larger stamp this time, and it is quite a large butterfly. But I'm only going to be using half. So I want half of the butterfly on the pendant and then some white left showing. So I need to use a bigger piece of clay for that. It's all on what you want to do. Any stamp will work. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp this again. Make sure it's a fairly deep impression. And instead of using chalks on this one, I'm going to use this Stays On Jet Black ink pad. I'm using it because I like the texture it leaves on the clay from the pad. But I've also done this technique with alcohol inks, which I'll show you this one here, what I did, with some alcohol ink, black alcohol ink, and then some brown acrylic paint. So exactly the same technique, it's just using different things to get it. I'm going to use this today just because I love it. If you were to use the alcohol inks, you would just get a little piece of sponge and put a few drops of the alcohol ink onto the sponge and then just pounce it over the clay. So you could use any colour you like. But we're going to use the same thing again, these strips. And place them wherever you want on the piece, bearing in mind you want to try and capture when you cut. Make sure it's stuck down again. And then maybe a couple more. And then just one going across there. Oops. Now, if you didn't want to use the distress paint, like I say, you don't have to, and you could just add your own little different textures here and there. Do it before you apply the ink. So, for example, let me just take my blade, just kind of tap some rough texture into the clay, just for added interest, really. You know, it doesn't have to be anything major. And then, of course, go with the ink pad or the alcohol inks on a sponge, whichever it is you're using, and just pounce. and get it darker in some places. Like this. Just using the corner just to try and get it a little darker. And that's all there is to it, and you can see where I used the knife. You've got some little texture there as well. And you just keep going until you're happy. And that's it. Make sure you always put the lids back on these and keep them stored upside down so they don't dry out. Okay, so that's that done. I'm still waiting for the Crackle Paint to dry on this one. You can see it's starting to crackle, but it's still not dry, so I'm not going to cut into this yet. But you're literally just going to take your cutter, peel off the strips, take your cutter, cut the shape you want and bake, and I'll show you that when it's finished. This one should be okay to cut. You can leave it a few minutes to dry if you want, but I think it'll be okay. But like I said, I'm only going to be using half of the butterfly. So I'm going to try and get one whole wing in. And some of those lines, and then just cut. I suppose I should have took the strips off first. Yeah, take the strips off before you cut, guys. Either way, it should be okay. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Yeah, take the strips off before you cut. Durr. No harm done, huh? Okay, I'll just peel it away. And that's the butterfly one with black stays on ink. So I'm literally just going to put these in the oven, bake them, and I'll be back. See you in a min. Hi guys, I'm back. So 2 pendants I made. I baked. I've just sanded the rough edges a little bit on both of them, and then I did a clay backing on this one and textured it, and this one I just added some resin and glitter just to make it look nicer on the back. So what you need to do next is put some glaze on these, because obviously you don't want the chalk or the ink to rub away. And I use this mini wax water-based polyacrylic, and it's matte because I don't want a shine on these. So I'm just going to take a soft brush and put it on quite liberally. I'm not going to brush it, I'm just going to kind of dab it on with the brush so you don't get brush strokes. Do an acrylic patina on this, but I changed my mind. But you could do that like I showed you with one of them. I don't know where it is now, but all you do is with a dry brush and some acrylic paint on it, just run it all over the piece. Don't let it dry, and then immediately wipe it back off again. And it will just leave traces of the brown or whatever colour you use. It just gives it a different look, but I decided not to on this one. That's all there is to it, just let it dry. The surface is protected with this. So just put that one side to dry, and then do the same with this one that I made. Quickly as well, just a few minutes. If you want to speed it up, I just use my heat gun quickly over it and it dries it really quickly. And then all you need to do is drill a hole, which I already did the holes in these. And this is one that I did previously, and it's been glazed, and obviously I've attached the bail to it. And then this is another one that I did with different colours of chalk. I think I should. Oh, this is the one that I did the patina on. It's got it's black alcohol ink, and then a quick wash of brown acrylic. Rub on, wipe off, and again that's had the glaze on there. That's it, guys. Simple technique, colourful or not colourful, whatever you like really. So that's all, other than to, like I say, put your jump rings or your pinch bails, and then just add a pretty cord to go through, and that's it. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Bye.